That wasn't on the screen as long as I thought it was going to be. So in between making my lyric videos and editing for other people, I decided, hey, I'm gonna have a life. And by have a life, I mean I'm gonna play video games. And so I decided to play my 3 favorite video games. And I looked for my favorite and the most forgettable places, I think, and some places I don't like, inside of my 3 favorite games. Now, as a warning, please, if you've never played Subnautica before, skip to this timestamp and play it for yourself. I love this game. It's amazing to play without knowing anything going into it. I wanted to cover the beauty that is Subnautica's bioluminescence. I mean, this is horrific. Pitch black. Can't even see the surface. You just see the bioluminescence covering the floor. Flocks of fish, predators. Now mind you, this isn't what it would look like if you didn't change the visual filter. This is what it would look like without there being that film applied over it. This is what it looks like when you normally play the game. Maybe you have a different gamma setting. This is what it looks like. So I want to find some of the places inside of this game that are both beautiful, like here, this whole biome, this bioluminescence. Right? I got scared there a little bit. I jumped so hard. Okay. Obviously the movement of the animals in this game are not always realistic as they would be inside of, say, a real life simulation of an animal of this size. And so that's something that you have to kind of look at and think about. Now it is time for my favorite section of all 3 of these games, because I look at it in all 3 of these games, and that is the skybox, whatever you want to call it. I know that I've watched a lot of skybox appreciations in the last like 2 weeks, and it's no different in this game. It's always beautiful. Now I'm in love, I'll never let you go. And I've never felt the way I feel when I'm with you. I love you and I hate you, but I love you anyway. I think that we're the same. And I've never felt the way I feel. You know, inside this game there are moments where it does feel like stopping and taking in for a moment how the environment is, what it's doing, really rewards you. But seeing the sunsets, seeing the eclipses, quite beautiful. I was actually supposed to do Skyrim first out of these 3 games, but I didn't have it downloaded and I didn't want to waste my time I could be recording. So I wanted to record instead of download, and I could have to sleep and have it download overnight. And I was just thinking, like, You know, I really like this game. Probably my second favorite game of all time. Without even like reading the script that I'm wrote for what I'm going to talk about when I'm not actually in the game. I know how much of like an impact that this game had on my childhood. Just from the Jacksepticeye had a huge impact on my childhood. Markiplier 2. This game is kind of an extension of that to me. I remember staying up until like 3 or 4 a.m. for one of the first times watching Markiplier's play through this game. I got through like, I couldn't even tell you, maybe 20, 30 of the episodes of the playthrough. And I just remember laughing all night long at my friend's house, just having fun all day up to that point, and then as everybody else went to sleep, I stayed up watching that. I think it was really, really nice. And then obviously, since I was the last one to wake up, everybody jumped on me. Really, really cool and fun times from back then. I was in middle school still, I want to say, when that happened. I think it was Jacob Geller who said, like, that people were complaining in Red Dead Redemption 2 that that moment wasn't long enough, that it was only a few seconds for like this sundown inside of it, and he was talking about how that made it so much more special, and I definitely agree. Man, I feel really afraid to go into the void when I'm doing this, even though I have invincibility on. I should probably go there now. Ambiance is so good. Oh, the ambiance is too good. This game terrifies me. And I love it so much. Also, can everyone admit that this, although a logical button to have, absolutely terrifying. Just straight up terrifying. Like, I don't even want to go down there. And I know it's safe. Is my thing down? Is my thing open like somebody else can get in here? Because that doesn't sound very nice. I don't want somebody else boarding my ship. I think that would literally be the scariest creepypasta ever. If you heard that thing open while you're sleeping on this ship in the middle of the night. That is awful. I hate myself for why would I say that? Now, if anywhere were to fit a description of odd and unremarkable, I think it's got to be here. Because this looks odd, just kind of jutting out in several parts there, but then it just kind of cuts in and over, you know, kind of odd and interesting, kind of remarkable, but also every single edge in the game looks like this. So it is so uniquely unremarkable because it is everywhere on the edge of the map. Oh, there is the Ghost Leviathan. Hi. How are you? Can you not? Can you stop shooting yourself truthfully? Please. Sir. I'm trying to prove a point, sir. 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 I might have to speak with management after this. Please, be respectful. You're not always the star of the show. Yeah. You try to talk back to me. These people. Hey! Did you push me back on... Where am I? But you see, that's kind of my point. It's so unremarkable that even though I know where I am currently, it's going to take me like 10 minutes to find where I was. Also, places like this, where it is, you know, granted close to the edge of the map, but if you go to nighttime, this 100% looks like where you're going to hide from a Leviathan because it can't get its jaws in there. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is like, you reached one of the life pods, you got out, and there's a Leviathan after you. And you hide down here, and you have like 200 seconds of oxygen. And you have to go up 400 meters, but there's a Leviathan right outside. You know? Or like something like this. Here, this is a perfect example. So this texture is used everywhere, as you can tell. It's... like, this area looks like it's the edge of the map, but there's this whole other area that just kind of sticks out, kind of attaches to that other area, but also kind of looks like it pushes out a lot. Like, what's this? Just some edge to the map piece that makes it kind of like go out. It doesn't make sense to me. Like this. This just looks like it was just cut off there. And this texture is just repeated everywhere, so like it's so hard to find a place like that ever again if you're playing the game. Or like even some of this terrain here. This is exactly what I'm looking for. This map was handcrafted for years. Hi, you're back. And like all these jagged geometry, like I love this, seeing like this kind of part of the game development type stuff. And here, just like it's slowly like encasing the area until it gets down to the flat area at the bottom there. I mean, it doesn't get flat, but like it just like has its grooves and it goes down for miles. I don't know actually what the next step is anymore. It's probably like 8,000 meters, something like that. But like, if there's a Leviathan between you and the edge of the map, what are the odds that you're gonna look in this area? You know, that's kind of what the developers kind of hoped for. There's a Leviathan here, a Leviathan there. They're not expecting you to kind of like nitpick their geometry design towards it and that. It's not even like I'm nitpicking, I just... You can scan these? I mean, this is about as close as you could possibly get to this thing. That is not the right way to rotate the camera, okay. But yeah, I mean, these are so cool. Like, this thing is designed so well, in my opinion. Like, it's just small enough with a little bit of light. And then it's got the kind of like terrifying, like, what is this called? Bleeder? Biter? Bleeder? I think bleeder is called. It's got the same bleeder mouth. Oh, it's so cool. I love this. I love this game, man. Alright. Moving on to the next game. Our next game is Skyrim. So next we're going to be talking about an area that I've been to in all of my playthroughs of Skyrim maybe twice. When you're in the midden below the College of Winterhold and you try to go down below and escape from the midden, going down through and fighting all of these enemies after you've talked to the people and gotten underneath the college, however you've gotten underneath the college, there is a dump off area where you can be behind and underneath the College of Winterhold that I had never seen before. So you get dumped out here after you go through there. And now you're just here. Is there a reason why you can come up here? Because I don't think without toggle and collision you can really easily get back up there. So I doubt it's meant to be accessed that way intentionally. It's just supposed to be like, when you exit and then fast travel away from and then never talk about it again. Or never look closely at again. Same with that place in Castle, wherever it is, where this lady is from, where you go onto the porch of the castle and just fast travel. Because I vividly remember that little banister, trying to do jumps off of it, trying to see if there was like a parkour or something, there was a reason why we were there, other than to fast travel. This is one of my favorite places in all of Skyrim.
Who's there? I knew I heard something.
I don't remember the first time I sat back and just enjoyed this area. Could have been on PS4, could have been on PC. Probably on PS4. And it was in the middle of the night. And it was the most stunning I've ever seen a game be.
It's so bright out here. I don't know how you stand it.
This video, heavily inspired by Annie Austin. I think that this is a perfect representation of what, except that dead dragon over there. This is a perfect representation of what Odd and Remarkable is, because you can't really get out this side. I mean, you go over this bridge a few times if you're not fast traveling. You only have to go to Riften a lot unless you're in the Thieves Guild and doing those quests. And obviously they could have just made it 2 areas and had that all filled up. Just had those 2 parts of the land kind of clip into it like this on each side. But they kind of left it there and made it 3 humps instead of the 2. Even though it's a much smaller, more enclosed area, kind of some jagged geometry. I mean, really, if you're a game designer, these are the kind of things that are like, for the perfectionists, they're the hardest things to choose, because do you make it symmetrical, or do you make it like, do you not leave these kind of like pointless almost areas? Like, you know, if a dragon's coming to attack you, you know, it is good cover. It is. I'm not going to deny that. You know, if a dragon were to swoop in to revenge his fallen brother that totally died by fair means, then running very slowly into this, you know, I could see that, you know? I could see its uses. But that really is unremarkable in most basic sense of the word. Some of you who have a lot of time inside of this game already know this location, and it's like one of the most iconic places. Even people who have one Skyrim video on their YouTube channels probably know about where this place is. And if you don't, this is the first cabin for the start of the Dark Brotherhood questline. And you go through a whole questline with them. And this area is always going to be one of my favorites, because you know, the sky's still beautiful. It'll always be beautiful from this game. But the mix of the very cold weather with the steaming marsh almost off of the ocean is so atmospheric and memorable. Really, I don't think I would ever forget this area. It has an odd sense of like, this fog feels like hot springs, but then there's ice in the water, and you remember kind of like where you are. You're in this incredibly Nordic-based, icy, cold environment. You know, or if you were to take a dip in this water, you'd be having hypothermia in a few minutes. You know, and it's like an incredibly contrasting area just north of that abandoned cabin, because I don't want that noise in my video, because you are just off of the North Sea. There's the sea north to it. I don't know if it's called the North Sea. You're just off of the ocean to the north of it. You know, there's some stuff that's off the coast on that side. There's the lighthouse. Maybe it's further inland, I don't see it. You know, you have all that stuff on that side, and then you have like the incredibly icy areas to this side. But then you kind of just have this area that feels like it almost is wrong in some way. Like, this looks like just an incredibly cold and wind blowing in the distance. Just an incredibly snow-filled area. But just like when you're right over the hill from it, it looks like you're in like a warm bog with boiling springs and like steam. You know, like this doesn't like steam, it's like fog, but it's so isolated to this one area that doesn't immediately make me think of steam. You know. Oh, there's another dragon. And maybe that's just me, but I think that's kind of what this whole video is about. It's about me, because I'm a YouTuber who makes videos for other people to listen to my voice. On to the last game. So, my birthday was September 11th, which was over a month ago. I don't know exactly when this will come out. I want to release this because I put a lot of time into the first two parts of this video. But I don't want to dub over my recording for the third part because I didn't record the audio, and it's just a lot of me enjoying probably my favorite game of all time. That's Outer Wild, or not Outer Wilds. Outer Wilds is good too, but Outer Worlds. Outer Worlds is a one of a kind game. It's goofy and funny, I think, in a lot of ways. And not a lot of people love the writing or the gameplay or the pacing of the story. There's ways to look at the game under dozens of lenses, however you want to critique it. I love its beauty. It's one of the most beautiful and inspiring games that I've ever seen visually. Its art style is almost like it came out 5 years earlier. It's not exactly the most realistic or most intensive game you've ever seen. It's not going to knock your socks off in terms of the faces or the size of the map or enemy AI, or hell, probably even art style for a lot of people. But you put me in space and I will just sit there and wish that I could just walk to the stars. And that's what it feels like every single time I'm in the cockpit in the Outer Worlds. I keep wanting to say Outer Wilds. I've never played Outer Wilds, and yet still I somehow mess up my favorite game's name and say Outer Wilds. I love Subnautica. I love Skyrim. I love Epic Mickey 2. I love Outer Worlds. I love Twilight Princess. I love Lego City Undercover. I love the Madden games, the show games. A lot of them because of nostalgia and my brother and playing with him. I like Subnautica because it got me through a lot of high school and middle school. Same with Skyrim, same with the Outer Worlds. Gaming is an escape for me. I figured I'll get a little bit more personal and just talk about what's inspired for me, what it's inspired, and how I'm feeling, because I already spilled my guts over Subnautica before, where I was just talking and talking and talking and talking and talking and talking and talking, and I'm sure nobody wanted to listen to me. But I think it's important how a game makes you feel, you know? If you're made happy by a game and it makes you comfortable, then that's all you need sometimes. And the Outer Worlds gives me inspiration. It gives me hope and laughs in the face of almost cartoonishly evil characters, and the moral implications of what you have to do in games like that, where it's side with the big mega corporation or don't. Try to screw over the man however you can. When it is those kinds of ideas and missions and things, it's a media of understanding the gaming industry and understanding the political scene scope that you're living in. And sure, it's heavily ironic in its portrayal of capitalism, and yet more than ever can you look at somebody and see just how cold and careless and callous people are in the real world. People are dying in every country because of the same people in our world, as there are these seemingly extravagantly, inhumanely evil characters that seem almost unfeasible and self-defeating inside of these games. So I wanted to get this video out before the election, just to remind people, if you see this, that voting matters. Your vote matters, especially here in America where I live. Each and every individual vote matters. Elect your school board directors, your local politicians, your mayors, your representatives, even your senators. You are directly voting those people into office, and they are directly given the power that you give them. And if you don't care and you allow them to give the power to these corporations, then it will seem cartoonishly evil and cartoonishly ignorant of you to not have taken a stand where you could have. So please vote. Please do what you can for the causes that you believe in. I know that a free Palestine is deserved, that the wars fought over mines, those dying in Sudan, those dying in the Congo, those dying in Somalia, those dying on the streets in America, those dying everywhere, all across the world. You have to stand up for what you believe in. I know that I'm sitting here talking into a microphone, telling you to stand up and do what you believe in. I still have to find my own voice, my own belief, whatever else I can provide for others. I don't know it for certain what I provide for this world. And that's something I'm working on myself. But what I do know is that each and every person has value, and even if I don't see that in myself sometimes, I see that in every person I look at, and so I have to understand that I have value too. You have value, you have worth, and your opinions have value and worth. Can you stop being an asshole over here? I'm trying to record. Something that Subnautica does now is this light, as if the individual light beams are being traced. You swim up for air and see the surface. That effect that happens in real life when you swim up, you can only have cone vision. It's all beautiful design in my opinion. It's such a slow climb up to the surface, but without the worry of oxygen, it's just beautiful. Slowly details gazing in. The sky so bright above you, coming to shape finally. Oh my god, did that just phase into the mountain? It did. Oh. Are you okay, my boy? My boy. My boy. Chill up. No, I'm sure it's fine. Ah, that is... no bien. No bueno, that's the word I was trying to say. Ah. I probably shouldn't have done this where I did. Here, let me... Well, I don't know if, kind of screwed myself on that one. Not gonna lie. Oh, it's just still a solid object that you can interact with. That's interesting. Let's do it. Maybe not directly into a cliff this time. In case I didn't say that. I'm gonna be really happy editing that into the video. Where it's like, oh hey, 30 minutes into the video, I said, here's the intro. Actually, how long am I into this? I've been recording for 17 minutes, okay, so at least that I can use that as self-reference. Like 16 minutes in, you save your intro, and then you have to go back and get your clips. Like I was saying, this is one of my favorite places in all Skyrim to be. Probably the favorite place for me to be. In Skyrim, I'm repeating that line. Alright. What was I even saying for that line? I don't remember. I guess that's going in the outtakes. Hi, thank you for standing directly in front of where I'm trying to watch. Whoa. Now, for those of you who play this game a lot, can you not walk into the frame while I'm talking, please? I don't buy that. Oh yeah, I should probably stop recording.